Good afternoon everybody and welcome to my channel Claire Manning Craft. I'm Claire Manning from Thirsty Brush and I'm going to be showing you a card making demonstration today. A little bit different than what I've done in the past because I had a message from a lovely lady called Julie on our Facebook group who was having some trouble coming up with ideas for a baby card because she didn't have any stamps or dies that are specifically new baby related. So it's not a birthday card for a small child like a 1-year-old, it's a welcome for a new baby, like a congratulations. So on that note, she did say she had a congratulations stamp, so wanted to start with that, but didn't really have any other ideas. So I thought, let's take up the challenge, make a new baby card for her using no items that are specifically made to be used as new baby cards, and see what happens. And guys, if you like it, if you find it useful, then maybe this is a feature that we could do, say, once a week, at least during lockdown, maybe longer if you like, where if you've got a particular challenge or difficulty in coming up with an idea for a card you have to do, then we can look at our stashes and see if we can work something out. So enough of me rambling, let's get on with the crafting and let me explain my thinking behind the design that I'm going to show you. Julie said she had a congratulations stamp, so I am going to show you the Thirsty Brush designs that I used for this card, or I'm going to use for this card. But the whole idea is, again, you look in your stash and you see, have you got something to make this kind of idea work? And again, this will work for other types of cards as well. So I am using this geometric background. Of course, sometimes you guys do like to see exactly which ones I'm using, so either you can dig them out from your Thirsty Brush stash, or there will be links below in the description if it is something that you're after. So yeah, this is the stamp. I don't know whether it's the same as Julie's, but it says congratulations, so I'm sure we can adapt it, and she will be able to get the ideas and along with you guys. So the thing is with new baby cards is that a lot of the designs out there can really only be used for that type of card. You know, there's lots of balloons, elephants, bears, that kind of thing. Lots of things that are traditionally meant to be done in the kind of pink and blue, boy or girl kind of situation. So I will build in an element so that you can do pink or blue. Not everybody wants to do that these days. And actually, I think if we're doing a congratulations card, the card is really to the parents, isn't it? So I thought, let's go with that and make it kind of modern and fresh and for the adults, and most of the parents will be probably youngish, so let's make it kind of modern and fresh in that way as well, but still make it a lovely keepsake and card that hopefully will stand out amongst all those more traditional baby cards on their mantelpiece or whatever. So one of the items that I wanted to include was a heart in the card, and I'm using a crackle heart stamp from this set here. This is one of the square backgrounds, the streamers, and you get these kind of 2 crackle hearts in a circle. I'm just going to use one of these, not sure which one yet, and this will be the element I do, pink or blue. So I've got my sentiment. I know I'm going to do a heart because I thought that really represented kind of family and love and sending love, and you know, the love that the parents have for the new baby, and that's the bit that I can put the colour in. And then I wanted to incorporate the date that the baby was born, so I'm going to use my alpha dies that we recently launched, and I'm going to add that in so I can put the date on the card as well. So it's going to say congratulations, have the date, the heart, and layer it up with a couple of other bits. So it's easily adaptable design that I'll talk through as we look at it now. So I start off with just a 6x6 plain white card blank, but of course you can do whatever size you like. For some reason in my head, when I think of new baby cards, I always think of a square card. Don't ask me why. So I decided to go with it. And then let's have it that way up. But you can do whatever shape. I also found this in my stash. This is actually a piece of actual really thin wood veneer that I've chopped down to just a little bit smaller than the card. Now, I understand not a lot of people will have this in, but it's basically just to show that I wanted to add an element of texture into the card as a layer. So you might have kind of wood papers or cards or something in your stash. But it's to get you to think about texture. So something that will either give physical texture or the illusion of texture. I'm sure you've all got tons of different papers and things like that in your stash. So rather than waiting to the end to start putting the card together like I normally do, I'm going to build this background bit ready, because I want this glue on this veneer to have a decent amount of sticking time, because I think it's going to need more glue than a piece of card would. So normally I just pop everything together at the end, but there's no rules really, is there? Like I say, I just wanted it to have some extra glue time. And to keep that in place, I've got a stack here of some dies in packets. So just to give it a bit of weight, I'm going to hold it underneath some out the way. So while that's drying off, what I want to do is do the crackle heart. So if I grab my Eureka, and I'm going to do this embossed. So like I said, this will be the bit that I think would be nice to add the colour to. So I've got 2 of our Luminosity glitter embossing powders here. I've got Powder Puff, but there are 3 pinks, and I've got Seafoam, but there are 3 blues in our sets as well. I think I'm going to use the Powder Puff for this demonstration, but again, it's just to show that this is, you can use whatever colour you want really. You know, if they've done, maybe you're a grandparent and you know that they've decorated the nursery in, I don't know, say a lovely green or something like that, you could tie in your card with that. Makes it really, really nice and personal. So I've got my embossing ink pad, and let's decide, I'm going to use the bigger of the hearts, why not? They're slightly different, so you get some variation. And I want to position it in the middle and at the top. Is that roughly in the middle? I mean, it hasn't got to be exact because the heart itself is purposely kind of asymmetrical. So stamp with my embossing ink. These crackle designs are really forgiving if you like miss a bit or anything like that. I always stamp twice with embossing ink, but it's no stress if you miss a bit because it just looks like part of the design anyway, so you don't have to be that perfect crafter. So I can't see that at the moment because it's a clear sticky ink. Let's grab, need a piece of paper. One day I'll have this stuff all prepared. I've got things strewn all over my desk at the moment. I've got so many ideas and so many things I'm working on. So just a piece of copy of paper to capture our excess powder. And this is like a lovely pale pink with slightly darker pink sparkly bits in. If you don't have any embossing supplies, maybe a pink ink pad, something like that. Or if you've just got a heart stamp that you could colour in, the pink or the blue. So there's always a way around it if you want to take the basis of a design but you haven't got the exact items. So I'm just heating up my heat tool so I can set that powder. Next thing I want to do is use the sentiment. So I could just stamp it on there. I quite fancy with a bit of contrast, stamping and embossing white onto black. Otherwise this might look quite a pale card, and I just want it to have a little bit of contrast. Sometimes this interest is quite cool, and that little black and white I just think is really nice and modern as well. So I've got a spare, just a scrap bit of black card. It's left over from a previous project. Really important when you're stamping and embossing white on black, and particularly sentiments where it needs to be really clear, is to use your anti-static bag. So your powder only goes where you want it. And the same process that we did with the heart. If it's your first time here, welcome. Do subscribe if you like card making videos, if you like painting videos, watercolour, if you like anything crafty. And I am, as part of 2021, doing some lifestyle craft organisation and home organisation videos coming up too. So if any of that interests you, press the notification button on the just by the subscribe button below, and then you'll get notified and just pinged on your phone every time I release a new video. I also do videos over on the Stamps by Me YouTube channel on a Thursday and a Sunday, and they're predominantly card making videos, so do check those out too. So that's the white powder on black card. Looks quite dull before you set it, but don't worry, that will go nice and glossy and white. And don't worry about this anti-static powder, we'll wipe that off after. Okay, so that's it. Can you see that anti-static powder just brushes off with your finger, or you can use a little dry paintbrush or something if you want. I'm struggling a little bit with my fingers of late. I have, without going into too much detail, I have a joint condition that causes my joints to get a bit painful and a bit swollen, so they just feel like sausage fingers at the moment. I'm just going to trim that down now, so it'll be like a strip, so just be a second. Okay, so that's the congratulations all trimmed down. So this piece of card that I did the heart on, so that's going to go around there somewhere. I'm not going to glue it on just yet, get all the elements together first. And then I mentioned to you that I wanted to put the date on. So with those dies, what I've done is I've cut. Now I'm making up a date here because I'm not sure of the date of the birth of the baby that Julie was talking about, but it's not to worry. So I'm just going to use the 3rd of the 1st because it's January 21. Now I've cut it out in white, and I've also cut it out in this lovely holographic card, so it stands out a little bit. So I'm going to glue those together. And then in this packet of dies with the numbers, it does come with these little dots that can be either used for time, if you want to do time of birth rather than a date, or I'm just going to use them for dots in between the dates. So I'll do 3rd, 3.1.21. So just start gluing all that together. Let's do these little dots first. Okay, leave this to dry. It's pretty quick dry and glue this. For card and paper, it's only when I used it on that wood veneer that I thought it might need a bit of extra long, and sometimes when you're gluing it on top of glitter or metallic card, it can need a bit of extra grab time. So I'm just using a fine nozzle tip glue just to go around on the white piece and then layering up. You don't have to do the white piece underneath. I just done it, and I do it a lot with these numbers and the letter versions of them as well when I make sentiments, because I just feel it makes it more sturdy and more professional looking and more like an embellishment than just a piece of card. Sometimes if you have a really thin die cut piece on a card, I don't know, it can, depending on what it is, it can look like it's just kind of floating there. Right, so we've got those elements. Just pop those aside for 1 second. I've got another black piece that I'm going to glue this white piece. Can you see I've got that little stitch in? That's because I used, see if I can find it, a die from one of our background dies. We've got some square background die sets, and the outer piece comes just to make a matte layer or a piece to mount onto your cards with this lovely stitch and dot design. So just gives it an extra little bit of finish. So that's going on top of there, and then this whole piece will go on top of that wood veneer on the card blank next. Just holding it in place firmly because sometimes it warps a tiny bit when you've heated your card, depending on how thick it is. The thicker the card, the better, but just give it a second or two to grab. Right, that's that. Let's get our veneer piece back from hiding underneath. Oh yeah, that's stuck nicely. Make sure I do it the right way up. So that's given that heart a really nice frame then, and it's sturdy, you know, it looks like a quality made card then. If you've done, I don't do huge amounts of matte and layering, but when I do, I like it to have a bit of an edge, not just, you know, piece of card after piece of card after piece of card. If you haven't, like I say, you could do a pink to go with the thing, or you could do patterned, you could do metallic, whatever it is. Right then, so let's now arrange. So what did I say I was doing? The 3rd, and 21 over here. So the number 1 for January won't be slap bang in the middle, will it? Because I've got these. So I like to kind of roughly layer out before I start gluing down. Do I want that overlapping? Yeah, I think I do. I like that. I might move those up a little bit then. You could even put some little foam pads if you want to give that congratulations a bit of height. Just play around with it for a minute or two. So if I do that one slightly off center, I should be able to get everything else in place then. You could do yourself little pencil dots or something if you want. Some people rest a ruler or a piece of card is handy to make sure they're straight, which I'll show you. Let's grab a There's another card here I'm using. So I've also lined that up with, made sure my card is straight on my background mat. Don't know whether that feels straight actually. Let's try something else. There we go. Just so I don't knock that. This is just scrap card where I've cut out my numbers. Pop the 3 on. So that piece of card, look, if you butt up the bottoms, then that helps you keep it all straight. And then hopefully these will look nicely spaced out. I think that'll work. It's easier when you've got a word or something that you've got an odd number of pretty evenly sized letters, because you can go from the middle. I'd still always go roughly from the middle outwards anyway, but you can know then that you can space it out nicely and evenly. Oops. Just hold those in place. Okay, so there we go. We've got, it's definitely a more modern, non-traditional baby card, but we've got the element of the pink or blue, we've got the congratulations, and then we've got that really personalised element of the date. So some variations of this for you. If you haven't got a heart stamp, you could use a heart stencil. If you've got this one in your stash, or something else from another brand maybe. You could use, like I say, coloured inks if you haven't got embossing. We talked about using all sorts of different paper for the behind layer. If you haven't got numbers but you've got letters, you could personalise it with the baby's name if it has one yet. And all sorts of different things on there, the time, if you wanted to do that with the numbers. So it's really just a kind of template for you to use. In fact, that card would work well for a wedding as well, wouldn't it? You could do colours to match the wedding decor or anything like that. So I hope that's been helpful for you. And like I say, if it's something that you like, this kind of, I'm struggling with this type of card, can you give me some ideas? I'm quite happy to do some more videos on that. And I will see you next time. Take care.